Alrighty, so today we're going to be talking about the properties of matter.
So, all matter has physical and chemical properties. Now, physical properties are characteristics that can be observed without changing its identity. So, if you can observe this scenario and that observation does not change what the thing is, then it's a physical property. Examples can be color, so you observe its color, you're observing its shape, observing and calculating its density, figuring out its melting point, its odor, seeing how it smells, its hardness, so how hard it is, what volume it has, and the boiling point. And there's so many other different examples as well. Now, on the other hand, chemical properties are characteristics that can be observed with changes in identity. So if a certain scenario is an observation, but there is going to be a change in what it is, it's going to be a chemical property. And examples are flammability. Does it burn? Right? When you burn something, it's a different substance now. You can't get that back. Reactivity. Let's see if it reacts with something. If it reacts with something, you can't get it back. And solubility, which is dissolves. So I want to see if this dissolves in water. If it does, can you get that back? No. Now, both properties are a form of observation. So just key note for physical and chemical properties, they're observations.
Alrighty, so we were just talking about different types of physical properties, and one of the physical properties was density. Well, density is a measurement of how matter is contained in a certain volume of a substance. Now, the equation for density, and you may have already known this from biology, middle school science, is D equals M over V. So M is actually your mass, and that data is going to be recorded in the units of grams. V is your volume, and that unit is going to be milliliters, so that's lowercase m, capital L. And then our capital D is our density, and our unit for density for chemistry is grams per milliliter. Again, you've probably already gotten this in ICPA, biology, and or middle school science, so it should be kind of review for you. Now, easiest way to kind of solve for density is looking at this triangle. So let's say we need to solve for density. You would cover up the D, and it has M on the top and V on the bottom. That means we're going to take mass divided by volume. If you cover up V, we have M on the top, D on the bottom. That means we're going to do mass divided by density. And then if you need to solve for mass and you cover that up, well, that's going to be D times V. So that's density times volume since they're right next to each other. Easier way to solve for density than doing some basic algebra maneuvers. So let's go ahead and do some practice problems of solving for density. Okay, so let's do some examples of calculating density. I rewrote the triangle here so we can refer to that. So we have mass, which is 5.430 grams. We got volume, which is 1.82 milliliters. We need to find that density since we know the mass and the volume. If we need to find density, let's go ahead and look at our triangle. Let's cover up density. Tells us that mass is on top, volume's on bottom, so we got to divide those two. Let's go ahead and do that. So we get density equals mass divided by volume. So let's go ahead and plug in our numbers. So we know mass is 5.430 grams. Our volume is 1.82 milliliters, right? So let's just go ahead and plug that into our calculator. Got 5.430 divided by 1.82. We got 2.98. Now remember when we refer back to our notes, we talked about the unit for density. We said unit is grams over milliliter. We got to put the units. If you don't include units, you will not be getting points. And then that is your answer. Okay, let's do another one. So this time we got
Mass is 76.2 grams. We don't know our volume. We got to find that one. And our density is 13.6 grams per milliliter. Well, we need to find volumes. Let's go refer back to our triangle and let's cover up volume. It tells us that we got to do mass divided by density. So let's go ahead and do that. Volume. Mass divided by density. Let's plug in the numbers. Our mass is 76.2 grams. Our density is 13.6 grams per milliliter. And let's plug that into our calculator. 76.2 divided by 13.6. We got 5.6. Now we got to use our units, right? So we have volume, that's our volume, and we know volume's units are milliliters. And that is your answer. Okay, so let's do one last example. Okay, this time we got our mass, we don't know it, we got to find it. Our volume is 2.4 grams, and our density is 5.36 grams per liter, okay? So we got to find mass. Let's go back and refer back to our triangle. Let's cover up mass. Hey, now it's telling me I got to do density times volume. So we got mass equals our density times our volume. Let's go ahead and plug in the numbers we know. We know that our density is 5.36 grams per milliliter. And we got our volume, which is 2.4 grams. And when we plug that into our calculator, gotta do 5.36 times 2.4. We get 12.864. This is mass. Remember our units for mass is grams. So our unit is grams. And that is your answer.
Okay, go ahead and do some practice problems. I put up the triangle for the densities. All right, here's the answer for the first one. And here's the answer for the second one. And that's it, guys. Thank you.